Welcome to the Boston's Big Four podcast. Cast. New news about music and sports every week, sometimes.
All right, we're back. Episode 64, Boston's Big Podcast. We got a very special guest with us, Red Shaydez. Red Shaydez, one of Boston's finest rappers, one of the driving forces behind, the rising hip-hop scene around here. We're happy to have you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited. I love people that do their research, and I already know you guys are about it. So I can't wait to see what type of questions you guys have. Yeah.
Well, plenty of research. There was plenty of research to be done. You have a pretty extensive, not only music catalog, but you do a lot of other things. So we're excited to get into it.
I do.
Yeah.
So I first saw you at the Boston Music Awards, and you were performing with Brandy Blaze this past year. And I remember, like, truth be told, this is my introduction to you. So I remember saying, like, who was that person with the red sunglasses? And then he tells me, he's like, that's Red Shaydez. I was like, oh my goodness. So I first off had to say, like, love the branding. That's fantastic. And
thank you.
My first question about that is, when did it become Red Shaydez? Like, did you just have a favorite pair that you would wear a lot, or is that like something you chose?
So no, this dates all the way back to 2001, and I was like in the store with my aunt. She was babysitting me for my mom, and she told me that I was being good that day. She took me in the store and allowed me to like pick whatever gift I wanted. It was a hair store. For those that don't know, like in the hood, the hair stores have things that are not pertaining to hair at the front. So you can get like, sunglasses, jewelry, all this type of stuff. So I seen these pair of red glasses there, and I don't know, I think it's divine order, but those stood out to me, and I was like, can I please have these? They were these little small circle, all red sunglasses. And, one of my nicknames is Shay. So I was like, I had a vast imagination when I was younger. So I brought those home, and I added this new person named Red Shaydez to the collection of people that I had on my label, because I had a karaoke machine. So
okay.
Awesome. This origin
that is
story.
awesome.
Yeah. So I used to make these mixtapes on the karaoke machines, and I was like, oh, there's this new artist on the label. Her name's Red Shaydez. Check it out. But then as I got older and more into my brand, like red represents the fire and passion that I put into everything that I do. And it also represents my aura, the color of my aura, which is a part of my branding. And then Shaydez represents not only my nickname, but the vision and perspective that I put into my music. Because I'm always like telling a story or just giving my view on certain things. So I made Red Shaydez, and it just stuck.
That's perfect.
That's awesome.
That is a great origin story.
Yeah.
So speaking on the red thing, you for promoting your new album, you've been posting videos of studio sessions, and you record in red lighting, right?
Yep.
Do you always do that?
So no. So this is the thing. This is why this was special for me this time around. Like, a lot of people would ask, they're like, hey, Red, as far as when I'm out on the scene, they're like, I don't recognize you outside the glasses. They were like, you always got the glasses on. I'm like, yeah, that's my name. Yeah. So they're like, do you record with those glasses on? And I was like, you know what? I was like, no. I was like, I've never recorded with Red Shaydez on. Isn't that so weird? And then, Betty, I never record in red light. So, in my apartment, I have red light. So I'm pretty sure that some songs that I've written in the past have been unintentionally in red light. But I knew with the album rollout going forward, and this was all pre-COVID, that everybody that I invited over for the Aura sessions, they had to be in red light because I wanted them to bask in my magnetic aura and let the juices flow from that type of wavelength. Right. And then I told my engineer, it just so happens he has the lights. I was like, get them red. If you watch one of the videos, I'm like, get the lights red. Like, you're playing around and we need them to record in red light. So yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Is Magnetic Aura, is that, in addition to the name of your album, is that also like I'm not familiar with, like, I know there's like a whole different like listing of auras and what they do and
all the chakras. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was curious, is that like something that directly you feel like is, I'm not sure, is magnetic like a certain type of thing? Like, is that something you feel like that's what you chose, or?
So when I was coming up with the title of this album, a lot of people, like, before I was able to fully pursue my music career, let me just give a disclaimer. I used to be a private flight attendant for the Boston Bruins. And when I was, when I was flying, I couldn't really indulge in the scene like that. So a lot of people was like, yeah, you really gotta like go hard with your music, because a lot of people gravitate towards you. You just have this like infectious personality. So I'm like,
this
okay,
magnetic aura.
Magnetic.
Love it.
And then so I was like, all right, you know what? Because first it was like aura and then all that, and I was like, all right, magnetic aura, we're gonna do it. But when I dropped this project, nobody really knew who I was, so it didn't get hot until like 2-3 years later.
Oh, I mean, that's a good everything so far. You haven't just like slapped names on things. That's like always,
it's well thought out. It's calculated.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, for sure.
So your new album, Feel the Aura, is coming out July 27th.
Yes.
How long did you work on this album? How long of a process was it?
I say up to a year. In the past, like Magnetic Aura took 5 to 7 years to make.
Wow.
Chillin' and Shady P was more of a therapeutic project for me that I had to do in order to do Feel the Aura. Okay. So yeah, I say I've been planning this for since last summer. I always knew I was gonna do Feel the Aura. I don't force the content, so I didn't really know what direction I was going yet until about a year ago. Okay.
So Oompa's featured on this album.
Yeah.
We previewed that track. Yeah. We talked earlier about Brandy Blaze. And there's obviously this huge movement in Boston, the Boston hip-hop scene with the female rappers. And it's you, it's Oompa, it's Brandy Blaze, it's Dutch Rebel, it's, Malia the Model. You could go on. And you guys kind of all work together. How did that start? How did you all link up?
You know what? It was very organic. The way I recall it is like, I've always been like, I have roots in Georgia as well. So that hospitality is always within me. And that video that you guys had pulled up, It Ain't Hard to Tell, there's scenes from Georgia where I like grew up and stayed at. But anyway, I always sort of wanted to bring the community together, but it was very organic. I remember the late summer of 2018, I had just got voted in to make it to the A3C festival. I'm not sure if you guys know that festival in Atlanta.
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a big hit. Yeah.
He knows it. Okay.
Yeah, Nasty was there.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
It's this big hip hop festival, and I guess like my name started buzzing around the city because, not a lot of people from Boston make it into the festival, especially through that voting thing. Yeah. So reaches out to me on Instagram and just like, hey, Anson Raps put me on to you. I'm putting together a show with another femcee by the name of Brandy Blaze. Would you be down to be a part of it? It would just be us three. So I'm like, yeah, sure. At this point, I was in a moment where I was taking any show that I could, because I was like, if I'm going to go hard this one last time, I want to reach a different audience. I was so shy and just like a bedroom rapper. So we do that show, and shout out to the photographer. His name's Leo. He took a picture of me, Brandy Blaze, and and literally from that moment till today, it was just like history. It was history. And then I think we all vibed. We liked each other's vibe. So everything else just sort of happened. We didn't sit in a room like, all right, we're going to start working with all female rappers and we're going to push this agenda. It really just sort of just timing. It just happened. And I think people were looking for something different and something new in the city. And when they realized we sort of all knew each other, it's just dynamic. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's fate. Everything kind of lined up there.
Yeah, I just think it was meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah,
seems
you
like
guys
a
got
common
a great thing
theme.
going.
I'm chalking it up to this aura.
I think it's the aura.
It's the aura. It's all about the
That's
aura.
what I'm saying, because this could have happened years ago, but it didn't. It's happening right now. So this is the time.
Yeah, no, it definitely, and it sounds like the foundation's been laid in terms of like the meetings behind everything and your ability to perform. You probably have honed your craft, I feel like, over all that time. Like, and you said that you were more of a bedroom rapper until you did some of those shows. So it's kind of this. It sounds like this is the like emerging from the cocoon, like as an artist.
It really is, because depending on how deep you get into my music, I talk often about just my social anxiety and being, pretty much scared to even be up there on stage. But a lot of people don't believe me, or they don't understand, because I do morph into Red Shades when I'm up there, and I don't look nervous, but like it's an internal thing. And so when they hear my music, they're like, what? I would have never guessed. So I feel like I was 50% of the reason of what held myself back in those earlier years, because part of me wanted to pursue rap, but the other part was shy, because I don't want all that like fame and tabloids and my business. That really turned me off. So I think around the time the Chillin' in the Shade EP dropped, I started working on ways to deal with that, and it's been okay so far.
Nice.
So you announced, recently you were in a Boston Globe article. You were one of 5 Black musicians speaking out about racism.
Yeah.
And I went back to look at when you announced when your album was coming out, because I knew it was around the time of the George Floyd, thing that happened, and your announcement was a day before the George Floyd killing. And when that happened, did you feel like you wanted to add anything to the album? Like, that you wanted to speak out about that topic on the album, or was everything set already?
So everything was set already. And in that Globe article, I actually mentioned that there's a song on the album called Bile the Land Up that is very timely with all this going on, and that depending on how familiar you were with me, you probably would think that was added, because of all these events going on. But, I've been Black my whole life. So like racism didn't start last week for me. So this song, you know what I mean? So like, so
Owen and I were talking before, and we were like, she might already have had a song about that topic on the album, So.
So I don't necessarily, I can't say the song is not, I don't fit, like, I feel like every artist, they have, I feel led to make a song about this or that. So like this song, Bile the Land Up, is not about police brutality. It's about taking back what's ours.
Right.
And just as a people, as a human being, you know what I mean? So when you hear it, it's very clear. I'm very direct on the song, and it's just like an empowerment type of song, and that was already on there. But this album is set in stone. This was done 5 months ago. I'm not adding anything. Right now it's all press runs. I'm just so busy with promo and scheduling the event. So
yeah, that makes sense. And I had that feeling that, like we had mentioned, that topic had been touched upon, because obviously nothing new. Unfortunately.
Exactly.
We're working on it.
How do you feel about I mean, obviously there has been a huge uprising since that event, and how do you feel about the way Boston has reacted and with the protests and whatnot?
So I'm looking at it from a couple of different views and perspectives on as far as my artistic community. I feel like we've been doing a great job at showing camaraderie and support, and donations, and whatever people are just looking for, whatever ways they can do. There's articles shining light on us. I like that it's not all about the trauma, that they are trying to uplift the Black contributors in the city and other minorities as well. From probably like a federal standpoint, or maybe like the state, I have mixed reviews on that. There's, I'm waiting to see how it all plays out. When it all boils down, we need policy change, we need reform, we need abolition. We need a lot of those things, and that's going to happen, with the higher ups. But as far as the people, I'm very proud of what I'm seeing and how these organizations and creatives that we contribute to are, having our back. So that is definitely a good thing.
Absolutely.
The gears are turning for sure. I actually did want to ask you, so at the beginning of this, we were looking at a video of yours from 10 years ago, and it says it was directed and edited by you. And I was curious. So I know you did film, you went to school for film, and I'm curious, like, how have you seen the styles of film and like equipment that you've used in the past 10 years? Like, cause all that changes, I feel like, so quickly. Like how,
oh yeah,
have you chosen like a certain style camera and that's what you use? Like, are you bouncing around, or is it constant upgrades? I'm just like,
so yeah. No problem. So let me just first say I am way too busy to shoot my own stuff now. So I rather pay other freelancers and stuff to do that. But I do have a lot of my own equipment. So it's funny you asked. Back then, that video that you're referencing was on a camcorder. Now I have 2 DSLRs. I got my light, my key lighting in the back. I have like a DJ. So I have a basically a production studio in my apartment. So it's definitely improved, because my first laptop that I was gifted was like this HP Pavilion, and 2012 on, I work on nothing but Macs. So and I'm an avid like Mac user, and like, yeah, because it has all the stuff that I need. For this album, Feel the Aura, the reason why this project is so special to me is because I'm tapping back into all the things that I did 10 years ago. So I feel like a lot of personal things happened in my life. And I sort of stepped away from things that made me. And I feel like this is my first time. I'm like, you know what? I do this stuff. I can edit, I can shoot, I can do all the stuff, take pictures. Let me do it again. So that's why with the campaign video that I did when I announced the album and all these aura sessions, I just did them. I was like, I'm not going to outsource. I'm just going to do it because it's going to get done when I want, and they can't do it the way I want to do it. And I wanted that authenticity anyway. I didn't want this to be super cinematic. The videos will be, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think I've sort of made this analogy before with when it comes to just like production, even just with audio, like sometimes you can't convey to somebody else exactly what you want. So you have to like have a hand in it. And since you have that technical knowledge of how to make the video how you want, like that, whether it takes more time or not, you're going to end up with what you wanted. So it's worth it in the end.
It's definitely worth it, and I'm honing in on my skills more, because I am, for those that don't know, I'm a video producer by day, so that's my job.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can we shout out the production company, or are you independent?
It's a tech company, so they're not even known for video. Nobody would know them anyway.
Gotcha.
I'm in tech, so.
Oh, interesting. Nice. Same.
Yeah.
We're twins.
Yeah.
So staying on the video topic, you had a movie put together for the new album.
Yes.
That got delayed because of the pandemic.
Yep.
But you're hoping to get that out eventually, right?
It's gonna get done. I have like, if I don't do anything else before I leave music and transition into my other desires, I'm getting the movie out. We had everything. I mean, you've seen the video, but like we have everything ready to go, and all we needed to do was film the script, bring it to life, and then boom.
Right.
They were like, you're not going anywhere. I'm like, damn,
So what were you hoping to capture with the video overall?
Well, with the movie, the movie was called Feel the Aura Behind the Shades, and it was going to take you, that's why I said delayed gratification is a constant term that I use, because it was going to show literally the beginning to the end of my music journey thus far. But I went through a lot of things, and I guess, my objective was to show people to hold tight, and that life can throw you curveballs, but there's light at the end of the tunnel type thing. But it was going to literally just show how I got my name, how I morphed into Red Shaydez, and how I started doing all this different stuff. And literally it started from when I was a baby. I threw a little, snippet in there of my 3rd birthday party with Barney, and he was holding me up, and my dad used to rap. So like I got all this started like a long time ago, and I just wanted to showcase that, because I feel like I'm so private, and I talk a lot about my personal stuff in my music, and I wanted to show that to my supporters and new fans as well.
Yeah, that's awesome to peel back the covers a little bit and kind of show what's going on and how this came to be, and it makes the picture a lot more clear and more interesting when you to the real fans especially. So actually, I wanted to circle back a little bit. I should ask this before. So we mentioned you have like a strong female presence in Boston right now, and you guys all support each other. And I know it's kind of been traditionally hip hop has been more male dominated. Have you guys found, was it always, were you always around, did you know each other like from the jump, or was it like, did you find yourself sort of isolated in the beginning, like in a in kind of like the male world, and then you guys found each other?
Yeah, that. I think
okay.
for me, I wasn't outside to begin with. So I don't know where everybody else was at. I didn't know any of these people that I know now. Like, I feel like in the last year and a half, I just met like thousands of people, creators, rappers, singers, like all this type of stuff. And that's why on the first album, there was nobody on it. Cause I didn't know anybody. And so, but now, yeah, it sort of just happened. We were all isolated. I know I've heard stories that, you know, it was hard for certain people to get certain looks in the city, and it became DIY and demanded that respect.
Yep.
And now it looks like from the outside looking in that this whole big thing, but really we were just trying to find our way and ended up finding it at the same time.
Pioneers. Gotta love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I had been curious about that just because I was always, the support's there now, but I was just kind of curious if it had always been there, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
A big record that you guys did last year, She Is Boston, with Nancy and Lord Jew and Brandy Blaze. Yeah. Oh, you got the sweatshirt on.
I got it. Yeah.
How did that come together, and what was that like, you know, shooting the video? It looked like it was just, you know, a lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie.
Yeah, shout out to Nancy, and shout out to Jay Hunt.
Yeah,
he's a big reason for you know, pushing me to the Red Shades that you know now. She just reached out, Nancy reached out to us, I think, separately. I didn't even think we knew we were all going to be on that track.
Okay,
but I
really?
think when people saw Tia Tamara with me and Brandy Blaze, and I think we did another song, people were just like, oh, well, I want them on my record. And then, you know,
that
last minute, they're like, appreciate you. They were like, you know what? Well, we're going to keep throwing them on records. And they, you know, Jay, this was around my birthday, and Jay hit me like, hey, we want to shoot a video. And I was like, all right, you know what? This could be something big. Let's do it. And people love the visuals because it showed the other Boston that people are not familiar with. They never show. I'm like, when I watched that video, I'm like, this is the Boston I grew up in. This is Boston to me. I don't know about the things on TV, but that's Boston. So it was nice. I think it was just a moment of like liberation for people, and it was nice to see their city on the camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you performed, I think Owen might have mentioned this before, you performed at the BMAs with Brandy Blaze.
Shout out to Brandy, yes.
Yeah.
For like 40 seconds.
Yeah. What was that like, though, being on stage at the House of Blues?
You know what? It's one of my favorite.
For someone who has social anxiety, also.
Oh my gosh!
I also have social anxiety, so I can imagine like being on a stage in front of that many people. Like, I don't know. That's great.
So I don't think so. The BAMS Fest and the BMAs were the most amount of people that I've ever performed for, like thousands. Yeah. I'm like, so we were backstage literally. V was losing her shit too. So I'm back there, and I'm like, you know, all I kept thinking was, this is B set. I want to do it the way that she wants it to go. Cause I know, you know, we're both very particular in our stuff. I was like, I don't want to fuck this up. I only have 40 seconds. Don't fuck it up. So I'm like, so we went over like there. Cause see, when you're at the House of Blues, like it's timed, and you got to be within that time frame, and you have to know where to enter and where to exit and who to pass the mic to. So not only am I hoping to remember my lyrics, I'm like, okay, I got to know who to pass the mic to. And also I'm fucking shitting bricks. But the good thing was when I walked out on stage, I wear red glasses so I can't see you guys anyway. And people go, oh, I didn't even know. All I could see is red, but there was fog. So when I went out there, I felt like I was performing for me, B, and DJ Washian. So I was like, but it did help that when I walked out, the whole room was screaming, and I was like, oh, it was just, it was surreal. It was like, because when you hear, depending on who you talk to, when you hear people talk about Boston and its support, they speak from, you know, how Boston used to be.
Right.
Oh, there's no support and nobody's doing this. And, you know, the wave that I came up on, I'm like, I can't relate. I remember when it was like that, I was like, but we have so much support. I would be a fool to sit up here and say, Boston shows me no love. Like Boston, like, has been holding me down. And that night just solidified, like, Boston as a whole, people that don't even know the areas that we're from, were there like, like we were like the second coming. So when I heard that, I was like, damn, I was like, we're really making some noise because they know who I am. And I was like, we did it. And it was just refreshing when I stepped off. But those moments right before every show is just like, do.
Yep.
I'm like
Yep.
shitting bricks.
Yeah, and like you said about like passing the mic off to the right person, like when you're thinking about that, like you could do that a million times, but then when it matters, you're like, and you like pass it the wrong way.
Exactly, and you can't see, it's so dark. When we did sound check, it was bright, nothing was there, you could see everything, and when it was showtime, all we could see was like hands and fog, like and drinks up in the air. I was like,
right,
so.
That was an energetic evening. We were in and out. We were right up front. Jack had a press pass. I'm so jealous. I wish I did, but
like you said though, like there used to be kind of a lack of support and camaraderie in the local hip hop scene, and that night kind of encapsulated like what it's become and how we've kind of moved on.
Exactly.
From that.
So people aren't used to that.
And seeing Van Buren's performance too, and how they were so energetic, and you know. That camaraderie is definitely.
There's a bunch of different collectives. Like it's just crazy. It's like, you know, it's just so much to get excited about because there's so much talent from not just Boston but Massachusetts, New England. You know, so. And
people who, you know, just consumers like us, everyone's getting excited about it. People who love music, you know,
because we've never seen this before. When have you seen this? When have you
never
seen
it?
Here?
We haven't really been able to have pride in our local hip hop scene really before.
Yeah.
You know, it's it was always about New York and Atlanta and LA, and you know, for us to kind of be building our own thing now, it's great to see, and you're definitely a huge part of that, obviously.
Thank you. I think to be in the midst of it, like I'm right there with you guys. Like I think I'm still trying to come to terms that, hey, I'm a part of this. Like I'm one of the people, but I'm still in it. Like I'm a fan first, you know. So I'm just like, oh, this is crazy. I've never seen it, you know. But this is definitely cool. And one thing I'm noticing is that a lot of people's first time being hip to me is the BMAs, which is cool because I'm like, so you remember me from that 40-second performance? I'm like, that's dope.
That's awesome. That really
I would have said it was longer. I would have said you had a couple songs for some reason.
I remember I got there late, so I missed that performance. I'm pissed.
Oh man.
Owen was like, yeah, Brandy Blaze brought out like she had red shades on. I was like, red shades? He's like, I don't know. Like, I was like,
that really was like so classic. I'm like, oh
yeah, that was great.
That was great.
Yeah, I'm mad I missed that performance though. I gotta go to one of your shows.
Did you get to see the video? Because shout out to Sando Films.
I did see the video.
He's
crazy.
The best. Yeah.
Sando's awesome. Shout out to Sando. Yeah, it looked pretty crazy. So you did a Tiny Desk submission for self-care.
Yeah, with my band, The Charmers. Yep.
So what made you decide to do that?
It's sort of like my signature song at this point. So like this was also filmed right before quarantine hit. And now and around that time, people always go, you know, Red Shaydez self-care 18, it just speaks to me. So it was called Self-Care 18 and Beyond. But like this, now people hit me up like, this has been my quarantine song. This is my theme song. And it's something that I sort of leave for the end of my sets because it's sort of just like my anthem. And who can't relate to Today I Don't Want to Do Nothing? So everybody's screaming it all drunk. And like, so it's just it's a good time. And so, I said, you know what, let's do that song. And also because we do a rock version of it a little bit, and people love that in the crowd. So I was like, F it, let's do self-care.
Hell yeah.
So I have some questions about the band. Are you
the Charmers?
The Charmers, Are you? This is something like, are you the lead vocalist for the Charmers aside from being Red Shaydez? Like I'm unfamiliar with this. So are they a band that backs you when you play live?
Yes, that. So what happened was last year, I got accepted to perform at the BAMS Fest. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that is. It's the Boston Arts and Soul Music Festival.
Yeah.
It's in Franklin Park. And that's what I was saying. Aside from the BMAs was my biggest performance. And I knew that if it was going to be a lot of people's first time seeing me live, whether you heard about me or not, that was a place where demographically, everybody was there. So from all walks of life. So I was like, I can't just go up there by myself. I said, I got to give them some razzle dazzle. So I brought the band together. At first I was just looking for a drummer and a keyboardist. And then, the way life worked, I kept booking like these college shows, and I kept doing these gigs with DJ Troy Frost, and DJ Troy Frost is my DJ now. And I was just like, hey, you want to do the Bands Fest with me? So now we had 3 people. I'm like, damn, I need a vocalist. I ended up getting the vocalist, and Sam from Dorchester Art Project and Brain Arts Organization, he's my bassist. And I brought, literally, if I tell you how that came together, you wouldn't believe me, because it literally wasn't planned. Sort of just all just panned out. And then we realized that we had this like group chemistry. And I was like, hey, guys, you want to perform me again? So then we did So Far Boston. And then from there, I was just like, all right, y'all are the Charmers. Like, this is my band. I debuted them at the Bands Festival. And so I like to use them as a special treat. I don't always perform with the Charmers. This is like, if you get to see us live, it's a special, edition type of show.
Do you guys ever session and like sort of vibe off of songs that you've rehearsed, like that are tight as far as like the studio playback goes? But then like, have you guys tried to extend like the live set? Like I'm curious, I guess it depends on the type of musicians you're working with. Like, are they able to just riff?
Yeah, they were. And so that's what we sort of did when we did Self-Care the first time. We sort of riffed off into changing it into a completely different genre. Like, it went from the hip hop version of Self-Care to like this screamo type version of Self-Care. And we were just playing, fun. But then, we were just playing. But people that were watching the rehearsal was like, no, this is kind of fire. So we were like, all right, let's do it. But yeah, we play off too. And then when I did So Far Boston with the Charmers, I performed a song that I never really performed live called No Resentment, and they sort of did their own thing with that too.
That's a great song. That's a great song. I was listening to that one earlier.
Thank you. Yeah.
And do you play any instruments yourself? Are you trained in music like in that way?
I'm not trained in music. When I was younger, I could play the keyboard by ear. I would hear certain tunes and I could go back and play it. But
I'd count that. That's
nothing to brag about.
Well, if you have the ear to do that, I'd say that's more than what 90% of people can do. So
yeah, and I used to make beats, in my younger years. But I think I just honed in more on my songwriting with R&B and rap, and just stayed on that path. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a youth mentor at the HipHop Transformation Program, right?
Yes.
So what is that exactly, and what do you do?
So the HipHop Transformation Program is a youth program that takes kids from Cambridge and beyond and pays them to be artists, basically. And we teach them about the history of hip hop and the different elements and like depending on what their interests are. So we usually have a lot of rappers and singers that come in, but we have producers as well, aspiring producers or kids that they've been producing for years already. We've had dancers before. And this year is going to be so different because this is the first year we're going to be virtual. So I'm really excited to see what this is like, because we're going to be teaching them how to record themselves, which I think is great, because before, we were teaching them how it is in the studio and we have this app where we were showing them how to book studio time, and you have to, we gave them like an allotted amount of time and you have to use it wisely. So yeah, that's what type of program it is. We basically show them how to be artists, and I'm the artist development director. So I help them with stage presence, cadence on some of their songs and flows, how to like say it tight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been rocking with them since 2016 as a volunteer. Okay. And then I think I came back as an advisor. And then last summer they were like, we want to hire you to the staff. And now I'm the artist development director.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
And forgive me if I missed it, but is that all ages?
So it's ages, I believe, 13 to 17 or 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you're an adult, get out of there, you know? You're on your own.
But so we've produced so many great art. Like there's a couple of artists that they started at TWHT and now they're like just independent artists in the city getting press and doing their thing. So
nice. That must.
Are you guys familiar? Yeah. Are you familiar with Tayshawn Taylor?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
He's from TWHT. That's where I met him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, he's dope. That's yeah, that must be rewarding seeing people, you know, that you mentored having success, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. So quick movie pitch.
Okay.
You know how there was School of Rock with Jack Black?
Yeah.
School of Rap or something like that. School of Hip Hop. And
it would be so dope.
It sounds like pretty cool.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
It is super dope too. You want to know why? Because at the end, so I forgot to mention for 6 weeks, that's on top of learning the history of rap and stuff, they only get 6 weeks to create and write a whole entire album. And they have to memorize that album and they throw a big concert at the end of the 6 weeks. And
they have to memorize it while they're making it, basically.
Yeah, yes. And then and then local artists such as myself open up for them at the concert. So like last year they had Luke Bars. I gave them a verse, so I had to perform with them out there. So we were like the openers for the big TWHT. So
yeah, that's awesome.
That's got to be surreal when you're young. I mean, if like maybe that could be someone's first time on stage, and it feels like, I'm sure you draw a pretty decent crowd. Like, so that's probably like a big feeling. Yeah,
for sure. A lot of people's nieces are in the program that are, you know, well respected in the Boston scene.
Oh, so we got the legacies. They probably little favored.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So speaking of doing like the virtual thing, your album release party is on July 26th, the day before the album comes out, and you're doing that virtually, right?
Yes. Yeah, I had no choice. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. So how was that? How was putting that together, and how do you think it's going to pan out, you know, being virtual?
You know what? I'm hoping for the best. How it panned out was, it was like once I think the reports started coming out like, oh, shit shutting down. Yeah. I was like, oh man, because originally I was gonna have the movie premiere at Hibernian Hall in Dudley.
Okay.
And it was gonna be this whole big thing in person, obviously. And so I was like, damn, well, I don't wanna just release the album. The rollout is important to me, especially now that I have eyes on me. I want to do it the right way. And I'm in global marketing at my day job. So I'm like, no, I got to capitalize off this. So again, going back to who I was 10 years ago, I had a virtual party before. So I was like, let's just do it, but let me do it the right way. So I got sponsors. Shout out to the BAMS Fest and the Record Co. And then Gigabit is a live production company in Cambridge, and they're going to live produce it for me. So we're just going to, you know, be regular. You're sort of going to come into my aura for real, see how it's going on. And you get to hear from the engineer on what that process like was from his perspective. Because a lot of people don't even talk about that. Like, you know, yeah, I'm the rapper and everybody knows me, but like, if it wasn't for him, these songs wouldn't even come out popping the way that they are. And then the graphic designer for the album, you know, I just wanted, this whole thing is about seeing how it all came together. Yes. And now I have like the Boston community is so heavily featured on this project, whether on it or in the behind the scenes. And that's so different from Magnetic Aura where nobody.
Right. That's awesome.
So,
that's So so that's coming out the 27th, right?
Yes. Feel the Aura, 7/27.
And what are your plans for, well, we don't know when this thing's gonna end, but you were obviously, before the pandemic hit, you put on a lot of shows last year, or you performed a lot last year. So obviously you probably can't wait to get back on stage. No, yeah.
So I'm enjoying this break. I'll be
You're enjoying the break? Okay.
I'm enjoying the break. I know a lot of my peers feel very different from me, but like I was saying, like, this is calming down my social anxiety, and I think I'm learning to just be, you know, and I'm glad I did everything in advance that I'm able. A lot of my like logistical stuff with the album is virtual and via email and calls. So everybody just, I feel like they went straight to performing virtually when this hit. And I was like, I want the break. I was tired because I was in demand so much that there was a offer for some type of show every time. And yeah, I was declining some, but it was like some of them were really good looks, but I still work a day job and I'm very hands-on in my career. So I'm tired. So when this happened,
it's all about self-care, right?
It really is. And you got to live what you rap about. And when this pandemic hit, like I didn't really do any virtual shows until Manifest Boston reached out for that collaboration. I sort of did my workshop again. I did like a at-home performance, and then I just did one yesterday with WERS. But other than that, I'm not doing shows. I'm in the back doing all this other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So have you been creating? You mentioned you have basically like a whole production studio in your apartment. Do you have like, have you been putting stuff in the vault? Like, or is this like a time to kind of just recenter yourself?
So both. I mean, I'm the one conking out all these visuals that tie into the album. So that's still creating to me. I'm collaborating with a couple of organizations, creating videos for them that you'll see soon. You'll know, and this is sort of cool because I've never like brought my video side to the music side as far as with other music organizations, but that's happening. And I'm on so many features, and for some reason they all come out around the same time, making it look like I'm in the studio all at the same time, and I'm not. So I've been able to stay current without actually having to do much because I did so much months ago.
Right.
I'm on like everybody's shit. So I'm like,
just reaping the benefits
gratification.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it's all about. Got to put in the work today, and it eventually adds up. And then
you see the fruits of your labor, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. How does it feel when other local artists reach out to you for a verse?
If I like them, it's great.
Oh yeah.
Like if I like them, you know, if I because a lot of people just be like, oh, let's collab, and it's like, hi, well, who are you first?
Right.
Do you know me? Do you know my music? And do we complement each other? Yeah. For me, it's not really about like, I'm gonna get on everybody's song. It's like, do we complement each other and would it sound right and stuff? So, but for the ones that I have chose to do, I love all of them, and they've been really great. Like the Barrett with Alfie and Giles and Brandy Blaze. Like that was
so dope. Oh,
it
man.
That was fun.
There are so many great artists on that album.
Yeah, that was fun. So like when I think I'm very selective in the ones I choose to do, but the ones I do are like a great time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to double back because I think what you were asking me, like as far as with the shows, what did I have planned in terms of the album? I'm definitely gonna do a Feel the Aura experience.
Okay.
Whenever I can. Again, that was the plan. Whenever that is. The good thing about like my fans is like they ride with my music all year long. Like I said, I'm still performing songs from the first album.
Yeah.
And people are still rocking with it. So I know that whenever things open back up, they'll be ready to hear it live, you know?
Right.
Yeah, we're really waiting for that. I can't wait for live shows. But I mean, we'll have to I'm a little, I guess, just so with that in mind, there's going to be probably like a huge backup of shows once this all comes back. I imagine all the things that had been scheduled and all the things people were planning to schedule.
Everybody's going to be trying to perform.
And that's why I'm trying to lay low too. I want to see what's going to happen because I know it's going to be like overload. So I'm just going to wait my turn. Yeah. I'm going to wait and stuff like that. But I have a question for both of you. And I know you guys are the interviewers, but I used to do radio too. So
okay.
I wanted to know, for you, Owen, when you first saw me and you researched, what's the first project you went to? Like how did you get more familiar?
I went to your latest one.
Okay.
The Chillin' in the Shade?
Yes. And
okay.
I went through, so I had heard, oh my God, what is the one, what I'm looking at, I have it up right here.
For me, it was Chillin' in the Shade, for sure.
Oh, that's when you found out. When did you find out about me, Jack?
Probably God, it's sometime like early last year, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm noticing for a lot of people is like when
Right.
I started going harder, like stop being scared and started coming out, most people is like the end of 2018, 2019.
Yeah. That's exactly when it was for me.
Yeah.
That's exactly when it was. And then ever since then, it's like your name's been popping up everywhere.
That's what they've been saying.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. Can't keep your name in people's ears and
word of mouth.
The Red Shades thing really is genius marketing, though. It really is. Like that'll stick.
That's one of my merch items too. So when people come to the shows, they got the Red Shades on. So you know,
perfect.
That's it.
Perfect.
So I wanted to say this, the track in particular I was trying to name, but for some reason it skipped my mind, was Old School R&B is what I was going to say.
The one which one were you just playing right there? You played the beginning of it. Was that You Like It, I Love It?
I clicked it by accident, but yes.
That was You Like It, I Love It. That's probably my favorite song, honestly.
For real? Thank you.
Yeah.
So do you like crooner type songs and like R&B type?
I do. I'm a fan of that. Yeah. That one's just so smooth. Like I love that track. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people, that's what I was saying. That was a lot of people's first introduction to me, so they might not be familiar that like I'm a vet, like R&B is my favorite genre, so I write that all the time, and I love to link up with great vocalists that can bring my writing to life.
Yeah.
And You Like It, I Love It was a song that I had written for a while, and shout out to Kay. I was like, hey, you know, and she's a songwriter herself, but I was like, I have this song, can you like sing it this way? And she just like took it and blew it out the water.
And how did you link up with her?
TWHT.
Okay, there you go.
Look, you see, this is that for real. I met her. There's actually a documentary too, but I heard her singing in the hallway during one of our breaks there 4 years ago, and I was like, I said, I'm gonna come back for you. And she said, okay. And we kept in touch and stuff. And I come back, and then she was like, you never forgot about me. I was like, I knew that voice. I said, I'm coming back. And
this is a movie. This is a movie right here.
Like, it really is.
In the beginning, like class dismissed, you walk out, you're like,
sing. Yes.
And then, oh my God. Then later on.
That's exactly how it was. And then if you look to, I don't know if you guys saw my video for Little Sabrina.
Yep.
She is at the beginning of that.
Okay.
Everybody in that video besides the main two characters are from TWHT. Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like to include them a lot. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry if you had said this already.
Go ahead.
When did that program start? When was that like officially?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think it was founded by the Archetype and Darren Cordy. So you guys know the Archetype, right? From Still Gold? Yeah. Yep. In 2013. I didn't come on until like a few years later.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's held at like the Bridge, that everybody knows that.
Right.
But then one of you mentioned Old School R&B. Owen, you said that's your favorite song?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah.
So
people
far.
liked it. Yeah. Yeah. People love screaming that one. I don't want it.
Yes, that's
that's definitely a good one to perform live, I'm sure.
I love performing that one.
Yeah. What's your favorite song to perform if you had to pick one?
Old School R&B and Catch a Vibe.
Okay. Catch a Vibe's a good one.
Yeah, Catch a Vibe gets people so lit. But that's why I'm so excited for this new album to come out, because there's a lot of like crowd screaming choruses on it. Like it's a lot of braggadocio. Yeah, a lot of talking shit. And I feel like this is the first time that I'm like comfortable in my growth and like just know talking shit. So there's a lot of it.
That's a great feeling, I'm sure.
Yes.
Being in that position where you're like, you can really be confident in yourself and express that in songs.
Yeah, and I've grown, so I'm just like, okay, let's do it.
Right.
And I realize you guys like that, and I'm just like, this is so funny. I'm like, the music listeners, the avid music listeners, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna talk shit on the new album. They're like, whoa! They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool.
People do love that edgy talk. It's the best.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm noticed. I'm like, I guess so, because I'm a fan, of music too. I'm like, I do like when people talk shit, so I get it.
Because when you bump that music, it kind of makes you. It gives you a little bit of confidence. You know what I mean? Like when you're driving in the car, listening to somebody like talk shit, and you're just like, you kind of start to feel that way.
Yeah,
you're like, oh
it's
yeah,
me.
right, exactly.
So I definitely showcase that on this. So, you know, when we do a follow-up, you guys are gonna be like, Red, yeah, this one's speaking to me here. So.
Word.
Perfect. Yeah. I love those songs that are just like so vibey. Like when you're just bouncing the whole time. It's the best.
Yeah, I love
Hot
that
energy.
too. Mm-hmm.
And but like you mentioned, like when the crowd is repeating back your chorus, I feel like you can like manufacture the song that way, like kind of when you center like that hits right then, and that's like where that energy comes. And I feel like certain songs are directed more towards live performances. We actually saw there was an example of that at the BMAs. We saw another artist they played a song where it just was like it hit so hard, and I went and found the studio track, and it didn't hit the same on the studio track. And I remember thinking like, this is a live song.
This is better live. Yeah. Yep.
Because it's one of those hooks where everyone sings, and when you don't get everyone singing, it's not the same effect. You know.
Exactly. Yep.
It really did. The crowd like made that song better. And I remember realizing like, oh my God, because it wasn't a particularly complicated chorus. So like people got it pretty quickly, even if they didn't know it. So I mean, that like plays to your favor when you're at somewhere where maybe not everybody knows you at an award show. So it was
exactly.
It was pretty cool. So I don't know. I just like to think about that kind of stuff when it comes to songs and the types of vibe that you might be thinking about when you're trying to put it together.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that too. Like the Tia Tamara song has no chorus. And me and Brandy sort of just did that, like just shooting the shit, playing around. But when we perform this song live, people go bananas, and we're looking like, thank you, but like what? Well, like, cause there's no chorus to even sing along to. So the fact that everybody's singing the lyrics and but
it's an energetic song though,
and we're talking a lot of shit.
A lot of shit. Yeah, exactly. That gets people hyped. That gets people hyped.
Yeah. Really so and it's the beat. The beat's kind of crazy too. We just took it from Rico Nasty and them, and we just made it into our own.
Yeah. It's the video's fire too.
Thank you. Shout out to Jay Hunt again.
Hunt again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you did say that you don't like you're educated in film, but you don't necessarily do your own work just because like of how busy you are. So you'll outsource that work. Do you find yourself having like an extra hand in it than a typical artist would?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you have a lot of
feedback, when I reach out to them, I'm like, look, just so you know, I'm a film and video part. Like I know this terminology, and that's why Jay loves shooting videos with me, because we'll talk in film language. And the other art's like, what are y'all talking about? I'm like, yeah, so you'll pan here. I said, we'll do the aerial shot, and then we're going to come down and do, and they're like, okay, sounds great. And for me, I'm like, you know, I write the treatment. So usually when I come to them, I'm laying it all out for you. I just need you to be the DP, which is the director of photography for people that don't know. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's probably, like we said before, with you having control, like when you take a little more time to do all that work on your own, you probably get a little more of what you want than the average person would, because you can tell them exactly what you're looking for. So that is pretty good. Yeah. And I have to say that video, I was going to ask if you had produced it yourself, because it did look like, I just loved the visuals, like with the lights in the background, and you could see like the graffiti on the ground. It was like all the feels were in the right spot. So I was like, I had a feeling that you must have picked all that anyways, but it was just really good.
Jay Hunt, you know what we said, you know, we hit him up. Well, he hit me up like, you have to shoot a video for this, because at the time this was just a freestyle I put on Instagram, just like I rap into the beat, and everybody went crazy for it. And Brandy was like, hey, I wrote something to it too, we should do it together. So at that time, Jay Hunt was like, you need to shoot a video for this free verse. I'm like, it's not even recorded. And I'm like, okay. B hits me up, and I'm like, well, Jay wants me to shoot a video, so let's go record this and let's shoot the video. All right, boom, boom, boom. The rest is history. We said we're going to shoot it at the Quarries in Quincy. We did it. He brought all these lights out. We had help from Amanda Shea and Free, and Nancia was on set, and it just, somebody told, my best description of that is an article said it reminded them of a Black Mirror episode. And now when I go back and watch it, I'm like, and it looks good. It's just dark. It's black with lights. I love it.
That's awesome.
It definitely matched the song. So it's perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
It's dope.
So you mentioned you got into music at a really young age. You had your karaoke machine.
Mm-hmm.
Who were your early influences, or who were some of your favorite artists growing up?
Growing up, it was Nas, AZ, Lil Kim, Lauren, Big Pun. I could keep going. Aaliyah is like in
all
general.
Legends, all legends.
Aaliyah is like my favorite artist of all time.
Okay.
So I always mention her in my music. I'm always posting like if you pay attention, you'll see all that and hear all those references and stuff. Missy Elliott, crazy. Yep.
I love Missy Elliott.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yeah. She's the best.
Who do you like nowadays?
Super Bowl halftime show.
Nowadays, I like a lot. So there's so many artists out, by the way. So I might name
almost
some.
Too much. It's almost too much. So
it's kind of reminiscent of the 90s where there was literally so many camps, so many artists. Everybody had a different favorite artist.
Right. But now we have like social media and everything where it's like all these artists have a way to get their music out there. So it's like there's too many to name.
It's too many to name. For me, I really love Rico Nasty, Baby Mother. I like J. Cole, obviously, Kendrick. I listen to, so I gotta see their songs. I think when you ask me about the new people, it's definitely always gonna be like a Rico Nasty, Baby Mother, and I like Cupcake. I like JID. I like TDE, the whole TDE. I like the whole Dreamville. But yeah, those are some of the first names that come about. Yeah, for sure.
Word. Another artist we've had on recently, well, a couple months ago, C4.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure he brought you up at some point during the episode. When did you first discover him, and how did that happen?
What a great story. So 3 years ago, I was doing my very first festival in Boston. It was in Faneuil Hall, it's the Boston Green Fest. My friends are also a part of my street team. They were like, hey, our high school friend is throwing this launch event in Roxbury. Let's just go over there. Okay. We all pack up the stuff. We go there, and there's this little 15, 16-year-old boy about to get up on stage, and his energy, the same one that you see now, is the same energy he had then. And I was like, wait a minute, when you see something different and you're just like, wait, this is somebody that
absolutely
that has something. So we're watching him, and my friend that was there, she's very picky with artists too, and was like, oh, I love him. I'm like, yeah, it was just so captivating. It was just so powerful and heartfelt. And so I usually don't like to perform like on the spot, especially since I just performed, and I got stood up that day too. Like I was supposed to have somebody else perform with me, and I wasn't used to performing by myself in a long while at that point. So when they asked me to perform at the second event, I was like, no. I get up there, I end up performing. C4 loved what he saw. Mm-hmm. So he comes up to me, and I'm like, well, I'm a fan of you now. So, hey, and we met like that. And then he just dove into the Boston scene.
Yeah.
And we sort of was coming up at the same time. And we've kept in touch ever since. And so I had him open up for me at my release party for the Chillin' and Shady EP last year. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So you both kind of linked up right before you both started to take off, really.
Yeah. It was like so dope, because I'll never forget the first time I seen C4, and I'm glad it was like live. It wasn't like, oh, I met him and he said, oh, I do music. I seen him live.
Right.
But yeah.
You saw what he could do right away.
Yeah, right away.
First time I heard him was when he was 17 probably, and I was like, I couldn't believe he was only 17.
Yes.
He's incredible.
Yeah, man. He's been here before.
Soul. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying that he's been here before.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few, I forget, I think it's on video, the performance where he's just like covered in sweat. I mean, it's more than one performance.
Yeah.
Shirt off.
We talked about that in the podcast. We were like, why are you so sweaty?
Because he really puts his all
into it. Yeah,
he puts his all in it.
He's a natural born artist. Like that's just what he is.
Performer, and he's appreciative, and he gives love out to other people. And so I really I'm excited to see where his career takes him.
Yeah, absolutely. Who are some other?
He was just actually in the Globe, in the same Globe with
in that article. I saw that.
He was in a separate article. Yeah. In that same paper.
Oh, in the same. It was a different article. Okay.
Different
I saw
article, but same. He was looking for himself in the newspaper and goes, Red, like, because I wrote him separately. It's like, hey, I'm proud of you. I saw your article, and he's like, I'm looking for my article, and here you go, right here on this article, and I'm like,
that's great. That's great.
Hey, Boston's coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
Really.
And not just with music, with artivism and activism and all type of stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and I know C4's been out there like every. I mean, he's been performing and speaking, and that's been, I mean, a big thing for him lately, especially with what's been in
going
the news.
on.
So, yeah, exactly. So, and like we were saying, it's not a new issue, but it's being tackled head on right now. So
yeah, it is.
And he's been out there on the front line, so gotta appreciate that. Shout out C4.
Yeah, it's good. It's good seeing it's good seeing young kids take a stand.
Yeah, for sure.
The younger generation, and he's definitely doing that. He's wise beyond his years.
Oh, C4. For sure. Yep.
What else we got?
So if you were to put on a show, let's say if it were to happen and you could pick everyone on it, who do you have any ideas right now?
Like just anybody, or like from like locally?
I guess in both could we do two, locally and anywhere?
And so if I was curating a show, like I'm not even in the lineup, I'm just putting together a show.
You can count yourself.
You could be in the lineup. Yeah.
Okay. I'm definitely getting C4, Brandy Blaze, Cake Swag, Rael, Tayshawn, Taylor. I got I'm an A&R low key. So I know a bunch of Van Buren, period.
Yes.
I love all of them. OG Collective. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them, but please get familiar. They are a powerhouse because they're producers and artists and musicians.
Okay.
It's like they remind me of like ASAP Mob.
See, every time I think I know everyone, somebody brings something up, and I'm just
there's something else up. Well, guess what? You'll get to hear their production on my album. And so if you are the type of fans that look at the credits, you'll know.
Okay.
Their music is fire. Yeah.
Word.
So definitely for that. For like in general, if I was doing a concert, is this Dead or Alive?
It could be, okay. Of all time. Let's do it.
Oh wow, it's gonna be a hell of a show.
Oh hell yeah, because everybody I just named to open for these people I'm about to name. Definitely Aaliyah, obviously Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, Wu-Tang, the old Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah, the one that comes on time and like can sing.
Yeah, I've heard she's been.
And then Queen Latifah, just so many people. Deluxe, oh man.
Yep.
Bad Boy. Okay, so just
So the greatest concert of all time, basically.
The greatest concert of all, because I'm a '90s baby, so I'd be getting my life. I don't even want to perform at this show. I just want to be in the crowd.
Absolutely, yeah, totally respect it. But you're running it, so maybe you gotta like watch tickets and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe
no, you can get other people to do that.
I'm gonna pay people to do that. I'm gonna be in the crowd in the front.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. What was I thinking? No, that's exciting. No, I mean, I feel like we do ask that question like a fair amount because it's always different, it seems. I mean, pretty vastly. And
that's like one of the basic questions that I ask like every artist that we have on is like who their favorite artists are, because I feel like that's just something we need to know, It's
I like to always also tell too, because sometimes like I can take influence from an artist that's not necessarily my favorite. I think I take bits and pieces, but as far as my flow, because it's funny, a lot of people don't ever ask me this question, like, who do you credit as to how your flow is the way it is? And it's definitely, a lot of people don't give him credit, but like I mentioned before, AZ, if you know Nas, you know AZ.
Yes.
And then
AZ unfortunately kind of lived in Nas's shadow a little bit.
Yeah, but he should have
been bigger.
He was nasty, and then Big Pun. And when we're talking about multi-syllable rhyme schemes and
nobody can spit like Big Pun. Like
I take influence from them. And that's why my flow goes so crazy on certain songs, because I'm rapping to the beat and the breakdown.
That makes sense. You switch your flow a lot. You
I can't even help it.
Down. It's dope though. Like
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah.
What else we got?
I don't know. We don't need to keep you. I mean, I think.
Yeah, no, it's been like an hour. We won't.
Yeah, well, this was great. Yeah, I mean.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
This was fun. Thanks for having me. And I love, like I said, when people do research, because it just makes it that much better.
We try. We try.
Yeah, and thank you guys for supporting. I see the playlist. I see everything. And just keep continuing to do that. And hope to see you guys at the virtual release party. And hope you guys enjoy the album. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't wait for the album. Feel the aura. July 27th.
Yes.
Red Shades.
Yeah, Red Shades on all social media. Anything in particular?
At Red Shades 1, right?
Yes, you got it.
I got it. All right. Red Shades 1.
Chillingintheshade.com. No G.
Chillingintheshade.com. All right.
Perfect.
No G.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can find everything. Follow Red Shades. Listen to their music. Look out for the album coming out. Come to the virtual album release party on 7/26.
And check in every Sunday until then for new pieces of the album. So
there you go.
Perfect.
Thanks again, Red Shades.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.